You bought a Dolby Atmos soundbar, but it still doesn't sound cinematic? Yeah, you're not alone. In this video, I'm breaking down the biggest mistakes people make with Dolby Atmos soundbars in 2025, the reasons your setup sounds flat, the features you're missing, and how to finally unlock the real 3D surround you paid for. Before we start, hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because after this video, you'll never set up your soundbar the wrong way again. Mistake number 1. Thinking any Dolby Atmos label means real 3D sound. If there's one thing Dolby Atmos has become known for, it's confusion. Because on paper, Atmos sounds simple, sound that moves around you in three-dimensional space. But in practice, there's a massive difference between real Atmos and what many budget or mid-range soundbars actually deliver. Here's the truth. Not every Atmos soundbar produces real height effects. Some systems have physical upward-firing drivers that bounce sound off your ceiling to create the illusion of sound above you. Others rely entirely on virtualized Atmos, which uses digital processing to simulate those height effects through phase tricks and frequency shaping. Now, that doesn't mean virtualized Atmos is bad. It can add a sense of openness and widen the soundstage, but it's not true 3D immersion. You're not getting discrete sound objects placed above or behind you like you would in a proper multi-driver Atmos setup. And here's where the mistake happens. People buy a bar that says Dolby Atmos, plug it in, and expect to hear sound flying around their room like they're in a movie theater. When that doesn't happen, they blame the technology, when in reality, it's often the hardware that's limited. If your soundbar doesn't have dedicated up-firing speakers, usually visible as two angled grills on top, you're not hearing full Atmos. You're hearing what's called virtual Atmos, which is software-based. It still sounds great in smaller rooms, but it can't replace physical speaker separation. The other part of the problem comes from content sources. Even if your soundbar supports Atmos, not every movie or TV show you stream is mastered for it. Some services downmix the audio to standard 5.1 or even stereo when bandwidth is limited, meaning your Atmos light might be on, but what you're hearing isn't the full experience. So, if you want true Dolby Atmos, you need 3 things: a soundbar with real up-firing drivers, a TV or player that supports HDMI eARC, and content that's actually encoded in Atmos. Miss any one of those and you're not getting the sound you paid for. Here's a quick example. Compare a $400 virtual Atmos bar with a $1,200 system that includes dedicated rears and upward drivers. The difference isn't subtle. The cheaper setup might sound wider, but the premium one feels like the room expands vertically. Raindrops, aircraft, even crowd noise, it all moves above and around you in a way that feels natural and dynamic. So the takeaway here is simple. Don't trust the logo. When you see Dolby Atmos, dig deeper. Look for the physical layout, the number of channels, and whether it includes up-firing and rear speakers. Atmos isn't a setting. It's a full system working together. And trust me, once you hear true, properly calibrated Atmos, you'll never go back. But this is only the beginning, because even if you buy the right hardware, your setup can still destroy the effect before you even press play. That's where mistake number 2 comes in. And it's one most people don't even realize they're making. Mistake number 2, poor room placement and setup. You could have the best Dolby Atmos soundbar in the world and still ruin it with bad placement. It sounds dramatic, but it's true. Room layout and positioning are everything when it comes to Atmos. See, Dolby Atmos isn't just about powerful sound. It's about directionality. It uses reflected sound waves to trick your ears into thinking audio is coming from all around and above you. But if your room layout doesn't give those waves space to move, all that immersive magic disappears. The most common problem? Mounting or placing the soundbar too high or too low. Atmos bars are designed to fire sound upward, bounce it off the ceiling, and send it back down to your ears. If it's too high, like wall-mounted under a TV, those upward-firing drivers shoot sound into open space instead of your ceiling. If it's too low, say inside a TV cabinet or blocked by furniture. Those reflections never reach you at all. The result? Flat, two-dimensional audio that sounds no better than a regular stereo bar. Another common setup issue is ceiling type. Atmos depends on the ceiling reflecting sound cleanly. That means low, flat, and reflective ceilings are perfect, usually between 7 and 12 feet. If you've got vaulted ceilings, beams, or acoustic tiles that absorb sound, those height effects will vanish. You can have a $2,000 soundbar and still get worse results than someone with a $400 setup in a well-treated room. Then there's the rear speaker issue. Many buyers place their rear speakers too close to the main bar, thinking it will make the sound tighter. In reality, that collapses the surround field. You want your rear speakers behind your main listening position, not beside your couch. Rear placement expands the sound bubble and lets those Dolby Atmos cues actually wrap around you like they're supposed to. Here's a quick real-world example. I tested 2 identical Atmos setups, same model, same calibration. In the first, the bar was under a mounted TV in a small room with a flat ceiling. In the second, the same bar was in a big open loft with high angled ceilings. The difference was night and day. In the smaller, properly placed room, Atmos effects literally floated above. Aircraft, rain, echoes, everything. In the open loft, those same sounds just disappeared into space. The fix? Treat your setup like a system, not a piece of furniture. Place the bar so the upward speakers have a clean shot to the ceiling. Keep at least a few inches between the bar and the wall behind it. Make sure your rears are actually behind you, not beside or ahead of you. And if you can, experiment with placement. Move the bar slightly forward or backward and listen to how reflections change. Because here's the thing, Dolby Atmos is physics-based. Every angle, every surface, every wall changes how those sound waves behave. Get the geometry right, and you'll hear the system transform instantly. But even with perfect placement, there's another silent Atmos killer that most people forget: your audio source itself. And this next mistake is the one even experienced home theater enthusiasts make all the time. Let's talk about it. Mistake number 3, ignoring source quality and audio settings. Here's the thing. Dolby Atmos isn't some magical switch that just turns every movie or song into surround sound. You need the right source, the right connection, and the right settings, and this is where most people mess up. A lot of new Atmos owners plug in their shiny new soundbar, connect Bluetooth from their phone, hit play, and expect a full 3D sound bubble. But Bluetooth, even the latest versions, compresses audio. It can't carry true Dolby Atmos data. That means all that multidimensional sound your system was built for, gone before it even reaches your speakers. To actually get Atmos, you need a clean signal. That usually means HDMI eARC in OT optical or Bluetooth. eARC enhanced audio return channel can pass through high bit rate, lossless formats like Dolby True HD, the kind of uncompressed sound that makes Atmos come alive. Optical, on the other hand, is limited. It'll give you 5.1, but it cuts off those height layers completely. And it's not just the cable, it's the content. Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, and even Prime Video all have Dolby Atmos content, but not every title supports it. Some only stream in 5.1. And if your subscription plan or device doesn't support Atmos, you'll just get basic surround sound. You can tell by checking the playback info or the Atmos badge on the show page. If it's not there, your soundbar can't create it. Then there's the audio settings in your TV or player. Here's a mistake I see constantly. People leave their TV audio output set to PCM or auto. PCM is fine for stereo, but strips out surround metadata. To get real Atmos, set your TV's audio output to bitstream and make sure it's set to Dolby Atmos, pass-through, or Dolby Digital Plus. It takes 30 seconds to check, but the difference is massive. Suddenly, those height and rear channels wake up. Even gaming consoles trip people up. The Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 can both output Atmos, but you have to enable it manually in the audio settings. Otherwise, you're just hearing basic surround, not the 3D spatial mix that Atmos delivers. Let's take an example. Say you're watching Dune, Part 2 on HBO Max. With proper eARC, the right settings, and the Atmos track enabled, you'll hear sound sweep across the ceiling as the ornithopters fly overhead. Without those settings, it'll just sound like another loud stereo track. And if you're using streaming devices like Fire TV Stick, Roku, or Apple TV, make sure they're 4K models that support Atmos pass-through. Some budget versions can't handle it at all, even if your TV and soundbar can. In short, Dolby Atmos is only as good as the chain feeding it. If one link, your source, connection, or setting, is wrong, the entire experience collapses. But even if you've nailed all that, there's another layer of optimization most people forget about. One that can make your Atmos system sound dramatically better in just a few minutes. Mistake number 4. Overlooking room calibration and software updates. This one's a silent killer. You could own a $2,000 Dolby Atmos setup, and it still won't sound right if you skip room calibration and firmware updates. Here's the truth. No two rooms sound the same. Your ceiling height, your wall material, your furniture, even the size of your rug, all change how sound travels and reflects. Dolby Atmos relies on precise reflections to create that illusion of sound above you. So if your soundbar doesn't know your room, it's just guessing. That's where room calibration comes in. Every modern Atmos system, from Samsung's Q series to Sony's HDMI lineup, includes some version of it. Samsung calls it SpaceFit Sound Pro, Sony calls it 360 spatial sound mapping, LG has AI room calibration, and even budget brands like Hisense are adding it now. These systems use built-in mics to listen to your room, then automatically adjust delay, height channel strength, and frequency curves. Skip that process, and your soundbar will push Atmos height channels in the wrong direction or overemphasize bass where your walls naturally amplify it. And yet, thousands of users just unpack, plug in, and start watching, never running calibration even once. That's like buying a sports car and never tuning the suspension. It'll run, sure, but not the way it's designed to. Now let's talk updates. Soundbars today aren't static devices. They're basically smart computers. Brands like Samsung, Sony, and Nakamichi release firmware updates regularly to fix bugs, add features, and improve processing algorithms. For example, the Samsung Q990C received a post-launch firmware patch that completely rebalanced its rear height channels and improved Atmos steering by 20%. Without that update, users were missing a chunk of performance their hardware was already capable of. But many owners never connect their soundbars to Wi-Fi, where they turn off auto-updates. So their systems slowly fall behind, missing out on better sound, new codec support, and improved sync stability. Even Bluetooth codecs evolve. Updates can unlock LE audio, improve latency for gaming, or optimize Dolby Atmos decoding for specific streaming services. Ignoring these updates means your premium setup is quietly becoming outdated while newer firmware versions sound cleaner, louder, and more immersive. Here's a quick reality check. If you've had your Atmos soundbar for a year and haven't checked for a firmware update, do it tonight. You might unlock new audio features you didn't even know existed. Because here's the thing. Room calibration and firmware updates are the invisible performance boosters most people never use. Run them once, and it's like getting a free upgrade overnight. But even when everything's updated and tuned, there's still one massive misconception that ruins the experience for thousands of people. Something that makes them believe Atmos doesn't work at all. And that's mistake number 5, expecting Atmos without proper speaker placement or content. Mistake number 5, expecting Atmos without proper speaker placement or content. This is the big one. The mistake that makes people say, I don't get the hype about Dolby Atmos. And it's not because the technology is bad. It's because most setups simply can't do what Atmos is designed to do. Here's what's really happening. Dolby Atmos relies on height channels, sounds that bounce off your ceiling or come from overhead speakers to create that three-dimensional dome effect. But if your soundbar is sitting under a low ceiling, tucked inside a TV cabinet, or aimed at a textured wall, those height effects have nowhere to go. Instead of sound raining from above, it just reflects randomly. And that immersive bubble you were promised turns flat and two-dimensional. Even the most powerful soundbars, like the Sonos eARC or Samsung Q990D, can't defy physics. They depend on a clean path for audio to travel and reflect. If your ceiling is too high, angled, or covered in acoustic tiles, the bounce effect is gone. And if your soundbar is blocked by decor or furniture, the soundstage collapses. Then there's the other half of the equation, content. A ton of people think every Netflix show or YouTube video automatically delivers Dolby Atmos. Not true. Most streaming platforms still mix the majority of their content in 5.1 or stereo, even if you're watching on a Dolby-enabled device. You'll only hear real Atmos if the content is encoded that way and your streaming plan supports it. For instance, Netflix requires their premium tier for Dolby Atmos playback. Otherwise, your soundbar just receives standard surround audio. That's why so many users complain that Atmos doesn't sound different. They're listening to non-Atmos content on an uncalibrated soundbar, sitting in a reflective room, and expecting a cinematic 3D experience. The fix is simple, but crucial. Make sure your soundbar has a clear line of fire toward your ceiling. Avoid placing it inside tight furniture cutouts. If possible, mount it just below the TV and slightly angle it upward. Give those height drivers room to breathe. Then, check your source, your streaming box, console, or app. Make sure it's outputting Dolby Atmos via HDMI eARC or at least Dolby Digital Plus. Because even the best soundbar in the world can't deliver Atmos magic if it's only being fed stereo sound. So here's the real takeaway. Atmos isn't plug and play. It's a finely tuned experience that depends on space, setup, and signal. When you get those three right, you'll finally understand why people call Dolby Atmos the biggest leap in home audio since surround sound itself. But here's the thing. Even with all the knowledge, calibration, and perfect placement, there's one last piece most people forget, and it can completely change how your setup sounds and feels long-term. Final outro plus channel CTA. So here's the bottom line. Dolby Atmos isn't the problem. It's how people use it. We expect plug-and-play magic, but real Atmos needs precision, space, calibration, and the right source. Because when you get all of that aligned, the difference isn't subtle, it's cinematic. That's when your ceiling becomes part of the experience, when a helicopter doesn't just sound loud, it feels like it's flying above you. And honestly, that's the beauty of tech like this. It's not about buying the most expensive soundbar. It's about understanding what it's built to do and unlocking its full potential with the right setup. If this video helped you avoid one of those Atmos fails, then you already know you're not the average viewer. You're the kind of person who wants performance, not hype. So if you want more deep dive breakdowns just like this, realistic, tested, and honest, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications. Because the next video, we're testing some next-gen soundbars that haven't even hit the shelves yet. And trust me, you'll want to hear how far Dolby Atmos is about to go in 2026. This is Interface Craft. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.